Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and all folks in between, and welcome to another episode of Aunt Millicent's Cooking Show. Hello, and thanks for joining me again on the show. I just got back from a massive weekend in Nashville, Tennessee, where I spent a girls' weekend with a lot of girls just like me. I had a ball. The previous video was actually filmed there, and that wasn't a serious cooking show. Warming up pizza rolls is not really cooking, but it's okay. We had a good time and we had a great snack, and I didn't have time to stay in the kitchen. So anyway, I am back and I'm refreshed and renewed, and I am very happy to be here. So tonight, I want to work on a new recipe for me. I'm making a pasta carbonara recipe. Now, the great thing about the pasta carbonara is you can modify it to anything you want. The recipe is coming from this book. This is called Italian Pasta Recipes, and it is by Priscilla Preston. And we are trying a couple of new recipes here among not only on the show, but in my household. And we're going to be making this. Now, a little history about carbonara. The story is that it was made for the miners coming out of the mines in Italy. Carbonara would be mining or, coal. And it's hearty and it's, very filling. And it also is very cheap, okay? And the good thing about carbonara is you can make it any way you want to, okay, as far as adding meats or vegetables or what have you. But the general sauce is very easy to make and it's very inexpensive. And the pasta is also cheap and inexpensive. And whatever you do to dress that up, that's totally up to you, okay? So I want to make the basic carbonara, and tonight I want to add some crab meat to it to add a little variety, okay? So without further ado, let's apron up and let's get started. So let's go through the recipe list. The first thing you're going to need are 2 eggs, okay? And you're only going to need the yolk, so I hope you know how to separate one, okay? You're going to need about a half a cup of Romano cheese. The egg yolk and the Romano cheese make up the basic carbonara sauce, okay? Next thing you're going to need is some sort of pasta. The recipe I have recommends rigatoni. Rigatoni is the big boys that look like little tubes, not macaroni, but rigatoni, although it also says you can use spaghetti, but don't get tired of spaghetti. Yeah, maybe a little bit. And it's not ziti too, which are a lot thinner and less of a diameter, I guess you'd say. So rigatoni is our pasta tonight anyway, okay? And I got it in the wrong space here, but you're going to need some salt and pepper, okay? Preferably fresh ground pepper, because that's part of the recipe is a little bit of ground pepper in it to make it kind of a little smoky, okay? And then finally, whatever meat you want. So for tonight, I have imitation crab meat. You can also put in shrimp, and I've made shrimp Alfredo before with a similar recipe. And you can also put in chicken, whatever you like, okay, for real. Or just put some spinach in it and some tomatoes and call it a day, all right? It is totally up to you. So without further ado, let's get cooking, okay? Okay, y'all, before we even start the sauce, we need to get our pasta going because we're going to need some of the water from the sauce. So get yourself a nice pot boiling and go ahead and make it per directions on the package. So I'm going to go ahead and put in this rigatoni. My recipe calls, you know what? Let's just make it all. And if we don't use it all, it's perfectly fine, right? So that's what I would do. So if you think you've made too much pasta, pasta is relatively cheap. You can toss it or you can reuse it in a follow-up dish later. So just go ahead and make it all. It's all good. Okay, so go ahead and get your pasta going. That's the first step. Okay, y'all, here's where things get a little different. I want you to open your eggs up and put your yolks in a bowl and make it a significantly sized bowl, okay? What we're going to do, we're going to try to put about a half a cup of this Romano cheese in here with the egg yolk, okay? It's a little bit less. If you got plenty of Romano left over, you can top your dish with it, and that'll be tasty and delicious, okay? So when you get all this in here, go ahead and put some pepper in here, some ground pepper, okay? I want to ground my pepper in here real good. Oh, it helps when you take the lid off. There we go. Now I got a big bolus in there. So put some ground pepper in there, and then I want you to whisk all that together, okay? My pasta is still boiling, okay? So my pasta is going to go into a pan here in a minute, along with this and some of the pasta water to make the sauce, okay? So go ahead and do that, and I'll catch up with you. Okay, y'all, my pasta timer just went off. Well, it went off again. What I want you to do before you drain the pasta is go get yourself about a cup, and that's a little less than a cup, of the pasta water and put that in your mixture of your Romano cheese and your egg, okay? So go ahead and do that, and we're going to stir that up, and that's going to be what makes our sauce, okay? Be right back. Okay, we're back, guys. First of all, before we put all this together, if whatever meat you're making, go ahead and prepare it. If you're making butter garlic shrimp, go ahead and make that. I'm going to go ahead and put in a crab meat, okay, or I should say, imitation crab meat. So there it is. And this is already kind of pre-cooked, so all I'm really doing is warming it over, okay? And I think this crab meat is fish. And it's a freshwater fish. And we tried this a while back. It's pretty good. It surely is a lot cheaper than real crab meat. Okay. So what I want to do now is I want to add my rigatoni as I see necessary. Okay. And I'm going to put maybe half or so in there. Okay. And then for my mixture of Romano and egg and water, that's going to go in there. And ladies and gentlemen, that is pasta carbonara. The egg will cook slightly in there, but not too bad, okay? And it won't get really thick. It's just going to coat your pasta in a nice little kind of, cheese melty kind of thing, okay? And at this point, what we can do is let this get nice and warmed up, let the cheese melt, and let the egg cook. You can add a little cheese. Well, see, I already have lots of cheese on my spoon there, so I'll scrape that and put that in there. But you can let that melt and let it all stick together. Throw a little more Romano in there if you want. And just cook it and get it good and warm. And basically, you have made pasta carbonara, okay? And it's going to be really good when I get it all going here. You can add salt and pepper as you like. So I want to let this get nice and toasty warm. And I'll join you in the dining room. Okay, y'all, we made it to the dining room, and I have my pasta carbonara with crab meat here. I've added a couple of tomatoes to make it look pretty, and tomatoes are always delicious, right? So let's give it a shot, see what it tastes like. Very good, very fresh. Like I said, you can customize it any way you want to with any meat or any kind of vegetable you like. Italian sausage would be good. I just thought about that. So I hope you enjoy making the pasta carbonara with me. And thanks for joining me again. And with that, I wish you all a very happy and healthy bon appetit.